Welcome to A Kinder World of Commerce. This is Santa Barbara, and I'm Monica Lenches with my co-host Claudia Rucker, bringing you this month's locally owned and socially responsible business, Allen Construction. Well, welcome, Erin, to A Kinder World of Commerce. I know that our viewers are probably familiar with the beautiful and environmentally friendly homes and estates that Allen Construction builds, but what they may not be familiar with is what goes on behind closed doors in the boardroom when no one's watching. So I'd really like to focus this interview on looking at what it takes to run a values-driven company based on socially responsible principles. So with that, can you share with us what you're proud of as CEO of Allen Construction?
The thing that I always go back to for me is our people. And I'm just proud of being part of a company of employee owners. And I use that term on purpose because when I say employee owners, of people who actually own the company as part of what we call an ESOP. And we basically, our ownership, we own 51% of the company as employees. It makes the company feel different. People know, hey, this is part of something that I have built into, and we operate different around culture as a result. And I think what I love is that we have a group of people who truly care about who we are as a company, and they treat it like a family. And I often hear people say, well, a company can't be a family. I'm not sure that's what you want to ascribe to sort of company culture. And I tend to disagree. I think you can have a group of people who truly treat work like a family. And that's what we want to be. And we have about a little under 100 people who work here at Allen Construction. And we have over, 15 people who've been here over a decade. And so that keeps the sense of culture alive and going forward in a way that I think is really important and matters a lot to us. And, one of the things that I am proud of with our people, and I've talked about a lot recently with the company and others, is just the number of women we have in construction. Construction's a crazy business that way that I want, and I'm super proud of the fact that we have so many women in leadership here and in other kind of areas of the company. Almost 50% of our management team is women. And I think it makes us a better company. I think it makes us a very strong company and strategic in ways that I am just always really impressed by.
So in addition to green building practices and reducing your carbon footprint, what other values motivate and inspire you and your company, and how do you operationalize them?
Well, we want to have a sense of purpose, and we want to have a sense of values that are very clear that we all align with and sets us apart as a company and keeps us aligned. And so, our purpose, we always say, is to enjoy working and growing together. We don't talk about necessarily the construction side. I get that we do build exceptional homes, and that is always going to be what we're aiming to achieve. However, if we're not enjoying working and growing together, we're not going to be as good of a company. And so we talk about that a lot, and it needs to be the central part of how we operate. We also have core values that we focus on. And so we have 4 of them. You can look in the background. I'm actually in my office right now. And there's one up on the wall that says relationships first. There's another one that says humbly confident. We also have always learning and do what you say. And those are things that we are core to who we are. We didn't have to make them up. It's how people were operating. And we continue to go back to them on a daily basis in how we operate. And one of those, around always learning, has a sustainability element to it. We talk about always learning to be at the forefront of green building and sustainability.
And what does building green and reducing your carbon footprint look like on a daily basis, and how do you operationalize those?
Yeah, I think there are a couple angles I would go here. One is on the building side, and the other is kind of on the operational side, in terms of working in the office itself. So on the green building side, fortunately, code around green building has actually caught up a little bit and moved forward quite a bit in the last decade. And so our real goal is to stay ahead of that, to be at the forefront of that. And so one of the ways we do that is, we've instituted something where we have specific projects talk about how they're having greener builds and what they're doing. And we have awards around that. So the team that is able to most move the needle on green building, we recognize that. We have teams talk about why their project should win that or qualify for that. And also for us, it happens early on. The design stage of the project really is where you can make a lot of the green building decisions. And obviously, once you get into production, you can kind of continue to move that forward. We want our people to stay aware of that and in front of that. And so we do a lot of training around that. We try to bring people in who are at the front in front of that. Dennis, our founder, if you read the Santa Barbara Independent, he's writing about, kind of just being at the forefront of green practices in general a lot. He's here talking to us about that. And so that's happening. Meanwhile, we also are really careful and conscientious about making that part of who we are in the office. And so, one of the things that just happened last week with Earth Day, we had a contest around beach cleanup. We want people to have fun with this and to be excited about it. And it was who can actually collect the most on beach cleanup and who can find the craziest thing on the beach. And so that was part of the newsletter that just went out to the company today, where we shared kind of the results of that. It has to do with just every single month we spotlight green practices that we can have as an office and things we're doing in terms of solar and other things around the office to have a more environmentally friendly and sustainability oriented company. And that needs to be far reaching. I don't just want that to be happening on the construction side. I need it to be encompassing everything we are around our fleet with Priuses and other, vehicles that we try to have be greener. People are proud of that. They come here for that. So it's a big part of what we do. And we're continuing to try to learn and grow together as a group more on that front.
And what are some practical ways in which you've connected with the community through corporate social responsible efforts?
Because I care so deeply about having women in leadership here and women kind of driving construction, we do support women and girls sort of causes. We think that's super important, environmental causes, in terms of our donations and funding for things. But on a broader level where we're connecting with the community, we do a program called Locals Helping Locals, where we're trying to find ways that construction can best help community causes. And so one of the things that happened during the beginning of the pandemic, when honestly, in the early days, we're just like, didn't know what was really going on in terms of, are we even going to be able to be on jobs? And a lot of our jobs kind of came to a halt for a while, and I had staff who weren't able to be kind of working. We did something where we had nominations for parklets, basically extensions for restaurants that could use outdoor space so that they could be compliant. And we thought we'd take, one or two nominations. It turned into kind of over 10 builds of these throughout the community. And it's actually been super great to see the kind of the love from the community around working together on things like this. And it's really fun when you're out to dinner and you realize, this is a parklet that we helped build here in the community, and there are architects that kind of helped on these things. And so we provided free labor on that and kept people staffed during that time. So that's a way of where we've kind of connected with the community on our corporate social responsibility efforts. And I love to see that happening around construction.
And where do you envision taking Allen Construction both in the near future and the long term?
So I love kind of to dream about what a company can be. I think that goes back a little bit to my past life and kind of work as a strategy consultant and a management consultant. It was really around working with executive teams to line up what can the future hold for you. How do you get there? How do you get teams aligned around that? And so, as a company, I want us to be thinking well in advance. How can we continue to improve and be better? And a lot of that has to do with kind of pioneering green building and not letting that be something that happened in the past. Let that keep moving forward. We're really working on getting into building all electric homes, showing how that can work, having clients see that is something that can be done and done well. So I'm really excited about the movement that we're kind of seeing in that area. And another thing that we're really looking at, and I'm excited about personally as a company, is moving into certification around being a B corporation, taking the assessment for those who are not aware of what that is, kind of a more global or universal approach to how business can be socially responsible. And so I think we already do a lot of those things around employee ownership and sustainability, both internally in the office, but also in the way that we go about our work. I just think there's a lot of value of doing that with a group collectively, where you're part of a greater whole. We have local businesses that are certified as B corporations. You've heard of some of them, Patagonia being one. I think when you're part of that world, you learn and get inspired from others. And so I want to continue to take the company that direction.
Is there anything else you'd like our viewers to know about Allen Construction?
I just have a lot of gratitude for the connection that we have had in this community over the years. We've been around almost 40 years now. And I, I hear a lot when I'm, kind of in the community. I've been here in Santa Barbara for 6 years, and I was part of a club called Newcomers when I first came, which was amazing to connect with all these people coming in who are loving Santa Barbara. One of the things I found over and over when I meet people in that group, or just even in the community, when they heard that I was with Allen Construction, they were just like so much affection for who we are as a company. We've been very fortunate to have done thousands and thousands of remodels in this community over the years. And so having that sort of intimate connection with people, being in their homes and like working on something that is really kind of a core part of their life, I'm really grateful for that. I know that takes a lot of trust. And so I don't take that for granted at all. The community kind of interaction and kind of connection that we have here is a big deal to me. And I'm really inspired to be in a place where people care about this community, where they care about the environment, where they want to partner with us in those efforts and be in their homes. And so I'm especially grateful and thankful for this community.
Well, thank you, Aaron, for your time today, and especially for really seizing the opportunity to continue to maintain the integrity of Dennis Allen's vision. I just know that our community is going to continue to benefit from your leadership and the contribution that you and your company are making. And I'm just very excited to continue this conversation and explore ways in which we can build a kinder world of commerce together. So thank you.
Thanks, Monica.